The market is a mess this morning. Now, just like 30 minutes ago, stocks, futures are up 400 points. But this is after, over the weekend, everyone's running to gold and nervous about what's unfolding in the election right now. You've got Europe under a new round of lockdowns. Announced this morning, we saw from Boris Johnson that the UK could be under lockdown through the end of the year. What that's going to do to the broader economy. The US dollar right now is up against the euro, or against the pound. And now you've got new lockdowns in Portugal and France. Could that trickle over in the United States? You're seeing slowing coronavirus cases in the United States suddenly. It's just like the seesaw back and forth. So no wonder the market is having this, anxiety moment. But what they're most nervous about is, if you look at what the hedge funds are saying this morning, hedge fund managers are saying this morning, is that they're looking for this nightmare Biden scenario where Biden wins, but there's no blue wave in Congress. And they have a right to be scared. They have a right to be scared because right now, all of these races are tightening. The Senate is currently split 53 to 47. And the reason they're nervous is because they're nervous we won't see a stimulus. It's amazing how Wall Street suddenly cares about a stimulus, isn't it? So sweet. It's kind of adorable, like Baby Yoda. The Senate is currently split 53 to 47 between Republicans and Democrats. Of course, Republicans run the Senate. There are 35 seats up for grabs at this moment in the election for the Senate. Of those, 23 belong to Republicans, 12 belong to Democrats. And so you have races that were widening. We thought that they could be blue victories, that Biden could be swept in with this massive blue tidal wave, win the House or retain the House, win the presidency, win the Senate. But now it's looking like the Senate could remain, and it looks like a toss-up at this moment, and it could remain in the camp of Republicans for the foreseeable future. Why? Mitch McConnell and his pushing through of Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. And he even said so much. Of course, he came out just a few days ago and said that these vulnerable senators in some of these vulnerable districts can now basically thank him for pushing through Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court, for allowing those races to tighten. It solidifies in the minds of their constituents and their big donors the idea that, wow, Mitch McConnell, these Republicans, they're going to listen to us. They're going to get this stuff done. Therefore, we're going to throw more money behind your campaigns, which has also started to happen in the past week. So these races have been getting a lot more money. Therefore, they're able to spend more money on ads, and that's why these races start to tighten. So as a result of this, what does this all mean? Well, all of these Wall Street types are ditching stocks, moving into gold. Right now, gold bullion was up for the second straight day, with Joe Biden leading Donald Trump nationally in these polls. But now you have these latest polls showing Biden leading narrowly right now. It's tightening up in Pennsylvania, Florida, Arizona, Wisconsin. These are all key states that Trump carried in 2016. Gold has given up ground during the presidential race's closing stages. So now gold has dropped a little bit, which is even making it more attractive for investors to jump on as a hedge against this craziness right now. Investors wish they could sort of take a long weekend right now and just like close their eyes, not pay attention to what's going to happen. But of course, tomorrow is election day, and that's going to determine who holds power in Washington, D.C. for the next 2 years. But the big question, of course, is the stimulus. Right now, if Biden wins and the Senate remains Republican, do not count on any stimulus coming anytime soon. Because that affirms for those Senate Republicans who did not want a large stimulus package, why should we give it to them? We're going to really work with newly elected President Joe Biden on a stimulus package, a massive stimulus bill. $5 trillion has already gone out to these billionaires. But they want more of it. They want to be able to buy back more of their stocks, not invest in research and development, overinflate their stocks and get richer while you end up suffering. So this could be the worst possible scenario. I think they're also starting to realize, according to the data this morning, that if we don't get a stimulus, that if Biden is elected and the Senate remains in the hands of Republicans, that a lack of stimulus means a wave of foreclosures, a wave of evictions it's already unfolding, and a lack of consumer spending as we head into the holidays. So questions overnight about big tech and could that bubble be bursting for Apple and Google and Facebook, et cetera. Yeah, guess what? It turns out if people don't have money to spend, they don't spend money. If their credit cards are maxed out, they can't use their credit anymore, and they're in debt, they don't tend to spend money. They have nowhere else to go. And guess what? When times are tough like this, people tend to spend money on the things that keep a roof over their head, if they can afford it. If they haven't lost their job, their only source of income, they have no health care, they can't pay their rent, they can't pay their mortgage, all of those things. I want to hear your feedback on these stories and more. You can do so very easily by just joining our channel. You can become a channel member here where you can chat with us. Just go to morninginvest.com/join. Today is our members only chat day. We're going to be doing this from now on because our channel, thankfully, has gotten very large and a little unwieldy. So we want to be able to have the chat be a reasonable place for people to have an interaction. So thank you so much. Stocks have typically gained more when either party has a flip right now. So right now, anytime we have a transition of power to another president, the stock market actually does well. Stock market really does well. It doesn't really matter, as David's pointing out earlier, it really doesn't matter who wins, because he's right. It really doesn't matter. Wall Street has already said that they're expecting a Biden victory. And Wall Street's fine with that because nothing is going to change for them. Very little is going to change for Wall Street. Let's be honest. Joe Biden is already looking to pack his cabinet with former Wall Street people. These are people who have gotten, millions of dollars from Wall Street that he's going to surround himself with. Do you think Wall Street's worried about Biden? A guy who has expanded our footprint in the Middle East, a guy who has voted to increase our defense spending. Do you think they're worried about that? No, but what we should be worried about is if the Senate doesn't swing one way or the other. If it doesn't swing blue, then there is no stimulus coming anytime soon. And Senate Republicans will sit on their hands on this. Mark my words. So right now, long term, President Trump or potentially President Biden will be confronting a volatile market. The question also this morning is who will be the Fed chair? So if Biden becomes president, will he keep Jerome Powell on as the Federal Reserve chair? Will President Trump make a switch at the Fed? He has at times expressed discomfort, distaste of Chairman Powell, wanting him to act in ways that he would have otherwise wanted him to, but he hasn't, and he sort of sat back and didn't change policy. But then they've come together over the time. From time to time, they've seen eye to eye. So this volatility in the stock market and the broader markets is real, and it's all being fueled by this one question this morning, whether or not we'll see a blue wave tomorrow. Let me know in the chat. Do you think we're going to see a blue tidal wave, a blue typhoon, whatever you want to call it? Democrats pushing into a major victory, sweeping all chambers of Congress and the presidency, or will the Senate remain? I have to wonder, I'm looking at the numbers right now at Kentucky, where you have Mitch McConnell winning again, one of the most least liked senators in the country. How is that possible? I don't know. You have races in Iowa. Joni Ernst, we thought, well, maybe, she didn't know the price of soybeans. Maybe she's going to get tossed out. Now that race is expanded. She's doing better in Iowa now. So look at Maine. So these are the real states to watch right now. Kentucky. I want to watch Maine, of course. Susan Collins in Maine. Longtime Republican there, who's been a thorn in the sides of Republicans and Democrats, quite honestly. And Iowa. So those are some of the tighter races I'll be watching. I'll also be watching Alaska. Well, Dan Sullivan, after we learned about his crony capitalism with the Pebble Mine out in Alaska, basically being bought and sold by the mining companies. so that he will roll over and let them pet his belly like Grover, so they can push through these environmental catastrophic new mines in Alaska. So these are the races I'll be watching. Let me know in the chat below, what do you think is going to happen? And please subscribe. YouTube tells me that only 70% of you actually you watch the channel, but only 30% of you are subscribed. So please subscribe if you are a regular watcher of our channel. We're live at 9 a.m. Eastern Time.